All right, here we go with day 22. All right, yesterday I was kind of talking about slowing ourselves down. So I wanted to kind of add to that a little more because there was a couple things that I was thinking of that I believe I have to add to it because now slowing ourselves down doesn't mean that we don't do anything, that we still don't try to get our to-do list done, that we still don't, try to handle the stresses in the world and that what it means is kind of slowing your mind down and slowing yourself down in the moment while you're doing those things. Like Dan Millman used to talk about being supple, which is being relaxed and ready at the same time. And so I feel like that's what grace under pressure is, learning how to slow your mind down, slow your energy down, and doing more in that moment. That's how you get in the flow. Like when you see these great athletes get in a flow and they feel unstoppable because they get into that present moment awareness where they're in their bodies and they're able to do more instead of being outside themselves, like worrying about the stress of the game or what the meaning of the game is. Like it's the NBA finals and you worry more about what are people going to think if I lose the finals, or what are they going to think of me, what's my legacy going to be, and all that stress being around you. And you need to let all that go and focus in on what you're doing in this moment, which is trying to be the best player you can in that moment and not worry about all those what everybody else says, because at the end of the day it doesn't really matter. Like even when I played softball, yes, it was at a level that was nowhere near what these guys were doing. But I was trying in each moment to be the best player that I could in every moment and try to block out the crowd, block out what was going on, block out what was going on in my life, and be me at third base, focusing in on making the plays and what I had to do next and being relaxed and ready at the same time. Because a muscle that is tense has to relax before it can move. A muscle that's relaxed can move faster. So that's why I feel like sometimes if you can be relaxed and ready, be that suppleness. And I feel like that's kind of what helped me make some plays at third base that I don't even know how I made sometimes. Sometimes I felt like, I don't know, sometimes I felt like there was a divine something or energy inside me that was helping me make those plays because I was slowing down and connecting to it. So I feel like that's what the frequency it is at a slower pace, relaxed, being comfortable with who you are, letting your spirit, letting yourself, letting you get into that moment and relax. And sometimes I even like visualize myself being grounded in this moment, like focus my energy in my body like I do right now. Like I'm kind of like feeling myself focused in this moment, being present for you guys, and then letting whatever it is, the idea that I had, come through me. And I realized, like in the beginning of some of my videos, I was always like, "What am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about? What is this? What is that?" And I'd have that, like I said, that nervous, stressful energy. And then during some of my videos in the beginning, I would just have to tell myself, "Okay, relax." Now I wasn't saying it out loud, but I'm telling you the process now, because sometimes when you take that pause when you're under a lot of stress, I mean, there was times when the games were getting like very stressful, bases loaded, nobody out, and you're like, okay, what do I do? And then you're like, oh God, they're gonna score runs, that we're gonna lose, all these like negative things coming on, and then I'd have to tell myself, okay, between each pitch, I'd kind of like close my eyes, take two deep breaths, and be like, remember, focus on the moment, relax, focus, you got this. There's nothing wrong with talking to yourself. It doesn't mean you're crazy. The, the people that are crazy when they talk to themselves are the ones that are saying crazy shit to themselves, okay? It has nothing to do. You can talk to yourself. There's two beings. And when you do, like with anything in life, when you're under stress and pressure, close your eyes and take that moment just to kind of recenter, refocus your body, become aware of what's going on, man. You just relax. Like I would say that with any sporting event or any event in the world, like pitchers, when you're starting to get stressed out and you're having a bad inning. I remember a time in Little League, I walked the bases loaded, and my coach came out, and I was like really stressed out. And then he was like, "Hey, you think you can do me a favor?" And I was like, "What's that?" He's like, "You think you can throw me some strikes?" And I was like, "Sure, I got you." And then I went and struck the next three guys out. But it was like in that moment of clarity and a relaxation, it like calmed me down. But at the time, I didn't know how to do it. He did it with, making me laugh and asking me to do him a favor. So it helped relax me. But the thing is sometimes we don't have those people there to help us relax, that we got to do it ourselves. So that's what I meant by slowing yourself down, relax into that moment. And anytime you're about to like react or respond or, get, and again, I'm not perfect. I'm working at it too. But the more you become aware of how to be relaxed and focused in the moment, the more that, you'll just, it'll become you. You'll learn how to be more relaxed when the pressure on the outside's there. Because isn't that, I mean, we're all under pressure. We all got issues. We all got problems. We all got challenges we got to solve. But if we're grateful for the things that we have and we shift that attention to, hey, you know what? I got a roof over my head. I got a family. I got friends. Any little thing you can, it'll shift the awareness. Tony always talks about it too. Robbins is that, when we can shift to being grateful, then it just shifts our energy. Like there, I don't remember all the studies, but there's studies out there that show that different parts of your brains light up when you're grateful. So it totally changes who you are. So let's see, suppleness, relax. So yeah, so you just gotta, and I feel like that's the thing is we create from our soul and our process and focus in on this moment, and it can help us like co-create with. Uh, I don't like to say God, but I'll say it: the energy, the universe. Like I feel like we're co-creators, and when we can learn how to focus on these things and ask the questions, it's like. I talked about it before, ask and you shall receive. But when you start to ask the questions to the universe, and we've been taught so much that we want instant gratification, like I need to know all these answers today, and sometimes you don't. um God, there was something a couple weeks ago. I was looking, and I was talking to my coach, and I sent her a picture of this thing. There was a, I don't know, I might have it on my phone. Let me see if I can find it. But it was funny because it was something I wrote. I took a class online a couple years ago, and it was something that I wrote, and it was kind of funny because at the time I was writing it, but I was in a different spot, so I wasn't where I am now. But I was still, learning and growing and trying to figure out how to do this stuff. So I really wasn't doing videos and stuff at the time. So, but it was just funny because that's what I'm talking about with the process is you're not always going to be the person that you are in that moment. You become more the more you go through the process and the repetition and all that. So it's funny that I wrote this like almost 2 years ago. All right, where is it? It's got to be here. It's got to be here. But okay. Anyway, went back and read it, I wrote it like 2 years ago. And when I read it out loud to myself, I was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "This is crazy." Okay, here it is. All right, it's kickstarting your full potential. I wrote, "Share my own experiences with being afraid of expressing my true self, public speaking, and putting myself and ideas out there. This inner villain has stopped me from in the past, but will no longer. Showing the process of learning who I was through meditation and self awareness, that we all can overcome our limiting beliefs. We don't have to be what the world thinks we should be. We just need to discover who we are and express that at the highest level to help others." And I wrote that 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I wrote that down. And then all of a sudden, that's what I've been doing here over the last, uh, 30, 20, 22 days. And I just thought that was crazy because I wrote it down. And that's the thing is that, and me and my friend watched Matthew McConaughey and Dean Graziosi talk about journaling because they've been doing it their whole lives. And they were saying the same thing, that a lot of the times they'll write stuff down And then they'll go back and look at it later and they're like, oh my God, this has happened. Like McConaughey said he had wrote 10 goals down and had put it away, and then he went back like years later and he said like it was might even have been a decade later. I think it was like 10 or 12 years later or something. And he went back and looked, and he said all 10 of them he had either finished or he had been in the process of doing it at that moment. And there's something about the written word when you write stuff down and you get it out of your head that you're able to create space for either you to do more because you're not thinking about it anymore, it's written down, or it allows the universe to say, hey, he wants this done. We don't, and at the moment, you don't know how you're going to get it done. It just knows that you want it done. You had asked for what you wanted, and then sometimes it takes time for the universe to bring that to you. It's just that most of us give up in the process. So that's the thing is trust the process, man. Learn how to build these habits every day of journaling, meditation, movement, just any little thing you can. Start somewhere. It doesn't matter where. I mean, I even do like super brain yoga where you kind of go like this. You do your earlobes. You put your right arm under your left. My left is on top, touching my right ear. My right's on bottom, touching the left ear. And you feel like this, and then you do like 12 mini squats. And you breathe in as you go down and out as you go up. You do that 10, 12 times, you're going to feel a shift in your body, like the energy of your brain. And then there's another thing where you go like this and you touch the inside of each leg and you go across. And I do that 12 times. And you do that, that's even it gets your, I don't know, it's something about it. It gets the energy in your brain going, and it gets you just feel different when you're done. It's like little things add up to the big things. Dean was talking about that too, is every little thing we do adds up to something big. It's just that sometimes we think we have to do something big. Now, again, we do some things big, but sometimes we think too big, and then it stops us from doing the little things to get to the big things. It's like they say, how do you make a journey of 1,000 miles? By one step at a time. How do you get to the top of a mountain? One step at a time. So, how do you get to wherever it is you want to go? One little step at a time until you can see the big picture. And have faith that even when you don't see the results, just doing something every day and in that moment will get you somewhere different. But if you sit around and not do anything, you're never going to get somewhere else. But I mean, we can't, we can't force anybody to do anything they don't want to do. I'm just trying to inspire you guys to realize that we're all capable of doing more. It's just the little things that add up to the big things. So if you don't think you can do it, just start somewhere small in the direction of what it is you want to do. Little or big, just start small and keep at it and create the habits, because that's why doing these videos, that's why I'm doing this challenge, because I want to create the habit of creating more content. And they say 21 days creates a habit. So try anything you can. Just keep at it. Even when you don't feel like doing it, just do something. Even if it's little, like some of those days where I don't feel like doing anything, I at least do something little, because then at least I did something. And then the days you feel really good, do more. So just, and don't be too hard on yourself, and just keep doing the best you can in every moment.